In honor of my friend Marilyn Maya Mendoza's August readathon, the Phenomenal Woman readathon, I am going to be reading a poem by Maya Angelou in front of every one of my videos for the remainder of August. This is the complete poetry of Maya Angelou. And I'm just going to pick a poem to read in front of every video. Today's is called On Working White Liberals. I don't ask the Foreign Legion or anyone to win my freedom or to fight my battle better than I can. Though there's one thing that I cry for, I believe enough to die for. That is every man's responsibility to man. I'm afraid they'll have to prove first that they'll watch the black man move first, then follow him with faith to kingdom come. This rocky road is not paved for us, so I'll believe in liberals' aid for us when I see a white man load a black man's gun. I felt that this was politically very appropriate. Hey Booktube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March, and this is my Bookish week for Sunday, August, I don't have my watch on, 11th, 10th or 11th, I don't remember. And I have some books to talk to you about this week. I thought I would have more finished, but I don't. I finished one book and I will be finishing another book. By the time you watch this video, I will have finished a book, and let's get into it and I'll tell you what those are. The first book, the book I finished, is The Wall by Marlene Haushofer. This was translated from the German by Sean Whiteside. And this is a Phenomenal Woman in Translation month for August. I do this. I think I showed you this before. I dog ear my pages. I hate the sticky tabs because it's too distracting for me and those little sticky things get stuck all over the place. So I dog ear. And as you can see, there's a ton of them in there. This is a phenomenal book by an incredible writer who died far too early. Let's see, she was born in 1920 in Upper Austria. She died in 1970, and I think she died of cancer at the age of 50, 49 or 50. And one of the things I read about her was when she died, she was such a quiet, introverted homebody that none of her neighbors knew she was even a writer when she died. But this book, The Wall, is about an unnamed female protagonist who goes on a kind of a retreat with her cousin and her cousin's husband. She is a widow and has 2 adult daughters, and her cousin decides to invite her to their hunting lodge out in the woods in Austria. And they take the trip, they get into the hunting lodge, and they get unpacked, and they start to relax. And the woman's cousin and her husband decide they want to go into town and get a drink and socialize a little bit. But she stays behind in the hunting lodge. She falls asleep, and the next morning they have not returned. And so she's a little concerned, like, where are they? They must have stayed in town. They probably had a few drinks. And so she waits. She realizes eventually that they're not coming back. And so she starts to get really concerned and very worried. So she goes out to look for them. As she's walking through the forest, she walks into a transparent, unseen wall. And she doesn't understand what just happened. What made me fall down? And she wasn't walking very quickly because she noted to herself that if she had been, she could have knocked herself out. She walked right into an unseen but very physical wall. And she starts to panic, like, what is happening? What is this? Where did this come from? She decides to follow the wall around its perimeter, and she's marking it with branches and plants so that she can have a visual representation of how extensive is this wall. She comes to find out that the wall is surrounding her and has isolated her within its walls, within its borders. And she can't understand. She's dumbfounded. She can't understand what's happening. What is this? Where did this come from? And it's almost as if she's thinking, are these aliens? Who put this wall here? Why can't I get out? Somebody will come and look for me. And she finally finds a place where she can see houses and she can see things through the wall. And she realizes by looking in the yards of this house that there is a man outside who is slumped over, who looks like he's either been sitting on a bench in his yard or he's been doing some gardening, something of that type of thing. But she can see he's very clearly dead. And he looks petrified. Not that you can tell as if there's a gory scene, but that she can tell that he looks like he's been petrified and he is in fact dead. She also sees some dead cows on the landscape. She realizes there are no birds. She can't hear birds. And she doesn't understand what's happening. So she goes back to the hunting lodge and she's basically freaking out. Eventually, she also has the dog of her cousin and her husband, the dog Lynx. And for a little while, that's her only companion. Eventually, a cat shows up. Just a random cat, stray cat. And she finds out that the cat is pregnant. And then all of a sudden, a random cow shows up. This is very important, this picture on the outside cover. And I love when the picture on the outside of a book is extremely crucial to the plot. And this cow is. So all of a sudden, it's this isolated woman in a hunting lodge with 3 random animals, those who are her only companions. The reason why this book is so phenomenal is this is a long time, what's the word I'm looking for? This book has long been thought of as feminist speculative fiction. Let's do that. And it is. This is the story of one woman who is isolated from all humanity, all society, and it's the first time in her life that she's ever truly alone. And she spends the time that she's isolated discovering who she is, discovering herself. She doesn't speak to anybody. She has no electronics. This is set in the 60s. There's no TV, there's no cell phones, there's no computer, there's nothing. She has animals. She starts to take care of herself. She starts to take care of the hunting lodge. She starts to take care of the animals, the landscape. She has to find food. She has to eat meat. She does all these things on her own by herself, and she changes in the time that she's isolated behind this wall. This is a book that the perspective is she is writing her story, and so she's speaking to the reader. And she's writing a journal account of what she experienced. It is a very, very slow novel. This is not the kind of a book that will appeal to a reader who loves a fast plot. This will not be your book. To me, there were times when I'm like, when's something going to happen? When's something going to happen? And it didn't, but this book catches you by surprise because the silence is so profound. The isolation is so profound. And then there she gets to the point where she's telling us how she's looking back at her past and her life. And those are the moments where I just held my breath. I caught my breath and held it and just needed to read because she's analyzing her past. And she's talking to us about how she feels about her present, her situation, her animals, the passion and the love she feels for what she ends up doing to survive. It's a magnificent book. It is spare and lonely and descriptive, extremely smooth translation by Shaun Whiteside. Again, it can get very monotonous. There are days when it's the same thing over and over and over again. There are some very pragmatic things that she does, but every day it can be a grind. But at the end of this book, I was just internally applauding Marlon Haushofer for this feminist novel, and I thought it's incredible. So highly recommend this. If you like translated fiction, go out and buy it. That was the book I finished. By the time you watch this video, I will be done with James by Percival Everett. This is a buddy read with Erin from Erin Go Live. It's already, I already said this, it's already a 5-star book for me. As I'm filming this, I'm more than halfway done, but by the time the video is up, I'll be done. So this review will come up in my next Bookish week. And I am also working on this beast of a really heavy book, Stephen King's The Stand, with Pat from Book Chat with Pat. These two women are phenomenal, phenomenal booktubers and phenomenal friends. But we're reading The Stand. This is going to be a very long project, a very long buddy read. Now, what do I want to show you now? I want to show you a couple of books that I hauled. This is not a giant book haul, but there are 3 books that I bought in the month of August, and I wanted to show them to you because I'm excited about all of them. The first one is Bear by Julia Phillips, and this was in Book of the Month Club, and I snagged it. Let's see. Sam and Elena dream of another life. On the island off the coast of Washington where they were born and raised, they and their mother struggle to survive. Sam works on the ferry that delivers wealthy mainlanders to their vacation homes, while Elena bartends at the local golf club. But even together, excuse me, they can't earn enough to get by, stirring their frustration about the limits that shape their existence. Then one night on the boat, Sam spots a bear swimming in the dark waters of the channel. Where is it going? What does it want? When the bear turns up by their home, Sam, terrified, is more convinced than ever that it's time to leave the island. But Elena responds differently to the massive beast. Enhanced by its presence, she throws into doubt the desire to escape and puts their long-held dream in danger. I'm one of those people that if you give me a book about a bear, I'm going to read it. There are plenty of books out there about bears, but that one I was really excited about. And the main book that I got from Book of the Month Club is Hera by Jennifer Saint. So far, I think this is Saint's 4th book. I haven't read one yet. But I am collecting them because I love the retellings, I love mythology, I love it all, and I will get to the books eventually. I swear I will. Ariadne is the first one. Even the gods must have their queen. When the immortal goddess Hera and her brother Zeus overthrow their tyrannical father, she dreams of ruling at Zeus's side. But as they establish their reign on Mount Olympus, Hera begins to see that Zeus is just as ruthless and cruel as the father they betrayed. While Zeus ascends, Hera is relegated to the role of wife and mother, a role she never wanted. She was always born to rule, but must she lose herself in perpetuating the cycle of violence and cruelty? Or can she find a way to forge a better world? Sounds wicked good to me. One more. This one is another book and novel in translation. I bought Claudia Piñeiro's Time of the Flies. Claudia Piñeiro wrote Elena Knows, and I think she's also the author of A Little Luck. If she's not, I will correct that in the comments below. But this is her, I'm going to say it's her 3rd translated novel, and translated by Frances Riddle. This is translated from the Spanish. Let me read you the back. 15 years after killing her husband's lover, Inez is released from prison and left to put together a new life. Her old friend Manca is out too, and together they've started a pest control and private investigation business by women for women. But Senora Bonar, one of her clients, wants Inez to do more than kill bugs. She wants her expertise in her criminal past to help her get revenge on someone. If this is not the perfect book for women in translation and phenomenal woman readathon, I don't know what is. And look at the cover with the bleh. Time of the Flies by Claudia Piñeiro, translated from Spanish by Frances Riddle. That is it. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you've read The Wall, let me know what you think about that book. I would love to discuss it more with anybody. It's a phenomenal novel in translation, and I was so glad I finally finished it. Write me a comment down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.